Welcome to today's YouTube video with Sport for Schools. Today's game that we're going to play is racket bounces. You need a tennis racket for the majority of the video and a selection of tennis sized balls and an extra racket for the progression at the end. Good luck. Today's skill is called racket bounces. For this game you need a tennis racket and you need a selection of tennis style balls. I've got a sponge ball, a red ball, and I've got a really bouncy rubbery ball. I'm going to show you some different exercises that you can do to bounce the ball on the racket. First one we're going to do is the low two-hand. So we're going to bounce the ball softly and catch it with two hands. I'm going to use the tennis ball for this one. So just lean over, bounce, catch. Looking to bounce the ball back up into your hands. As you throw the ball, look over the top of the racket before you release the ball, aiming to throw straight downwards. Second one we're going to do is the low one hand. So this time you can only use one hand to throw and one hand to catch. So same thing, bending over and looking to catch with one hand and throw downwards with one hand. Each time aiming for the middle of the racket. As you can see, I've got my head right over the middle of the racket as I throw this one. The next one we're going to do for this one is the high two hand. So what I'm going to do is throw the ball as hard as I can and catch it with two hands, something like this. So get quite a bit of power on your throw for this one. I've got my head over, but I'm just sort of leaning back just to get ready to catch. So this is the high two hand, throwing as high as we can and looking to catch with two hands. Make it a bit trickier, we can do the high one hand, so it's one hand to throw and one hand to catch. Same thing, looking to throw, catch just with one hand. Each time you throw, just get your head over the racket, like I said earlier in the video, just so that you can get an idea of where the ball's going to be. What we're going to try and do is taps. So I'm going to do the taps with the rubber ball, and I'm going to look to bounce the ball down and continue tapping it on the racket. It's quite tricky. You might want to start with one or two and then build up. So we could do a couple and then catch, or we could try and do a few more. Trying to keep the ball bounced in the middle of the racket for this one. Again, I've got my head up over the middle of the racket. And the final one we're going to do is the high catch and the low catch. So the high catch first, going to use the sponge ball. Bounce the ball on the racket, catch it high as you can, straight arms. Something like this. Bouncing and catching as high as you can with straight arms. Sometimes the ball will go in different directions like you did with that one. You've got to get ready to move your body. We're trying to catch this ball at its highest point if possible. And the low catch is the same thing, throwing, but then letting the ball come down low to the ground before you catch it, something like this. Catching it as low to the ground as you can. So bounce, catch, bounce and catch. Notice I'm going down on one knee to try and get the best possible position to catch the ball. And the bonus round for this one, something much trickier. If you've got two rackets and two balls that are the same, so I'm using two rubber balls, then you could look to do a double bounce and double catch. This is very tricky, you might get some of these wrong, you might get some of them right. So let's have a go. So bend over the middle of the rackets, looking over the top, two equal throws and then two catches, something like this. So each time trying to keep your eye on the ball you can catch first and then the other ball afterwards. Bounce and catch. Bounce and catch. Notice the blue one came higher each time. It's coming up higher. So therefore I need to catch that ball first. When you get into a rhythm of it, it becomes a lot easier. I hope you enjoyed today's sporty video. You can follow us on Facebook at Sport for Schools or on Instagram, Sport for Schools Kent.